Hello there, very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan.
And I'm Thiruni Karunaratna. Here are tonight's top stories. President holds bilateral talks with Indian Prime Minister. Maitri Vikramasinghe seeks 2-week extension to give CID statement. 7 new high courts to expedite trial process.
අපි අලුතෙන් මහාධිකරණ 7ක් පිහිටවනවා අලුත්කඩේ පරිශ්‍රය තුල ඒ වගේම තව 2ක් පිහිටවනවා අලුත්කඩේ පරිශ්‍රය තුල තව මහාධිකරණ 7ක් එනවා.
If LOVS fails to supply LP gas, Litro will release additional cylinders.
කහපාට ගෑස් සිලින්ඩර් පාවිච්චි කරන අයට මාර්තු මාසේ 12 වෙනිදා සිට නිල් පාට ගෑස් සිලින්ඩර් වෙළඳපොළට නිකුත් කරන්න ලිට්‍රෝ ගෑස් සමාගම දැන් සැලසුම් කරලා තියෙනවා.
In some breaking news coming from the United States, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled against U.S. President Donald Trump's global tariffs, which went into effect last year. In its ruling, the U.S. Supreme Court says Trump exceeded his authority in imposing sweeping tariffs through a law reserved for a national emergency. The High Court rules the International Emergency Economic Powers Act does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. Speaking at an event in Georgia yesterday, Trump said that without tariffs, everybody would be bankrupt. Trump maintained it was his right to set tariffs as is president. The Supreme Court ruled against Trump's tariffs in a 6-3 majority. In 2025, Trump placed taxes on goods imported into the U.S., saying it would boost American manufacturing. In August 2025, a U.S. appeals court ruled that most of Trump's tariffs were illegal, but left them in place. Tariffs affected by today's Supreme Court ruling include the countrywide tariffs Trump imposed on most of the world. The ruling centers on Trump's use of 1977 law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, that gives the president the power to regulate trade in response to act of emergency. Trump's first invoked it in February 2025 to tax goods from China, Mexico and Canada, saying drug trafficking from those countries constituted an emergency. He deployed it again in April, ordering levies from 10% to 50% on goods from almost every country in the world. Tariffs on industry-specific steel, aluminium, lumber and automotive tariffs remain unaffected. Stay tuned to Newsfirst online platforms as we bring you the latest on this developing story.
Well, with that, let's move on to local news this evening. Sri Lankan President Anusha Dissanayake, currently on an official visit to India, met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi today for bilateral discussions.
President Anusha Dissanayake, who is in India to attend the AI Impact 2026 summit, held a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi this afternoon at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi warmly welcomed President Dissanayake and expressed appreciation for accepting the invitation to participate in the AI Impact 2026 summit. The two leaders engaged in a cordial conversation. Following their initial exchange, the two leaders proceeded to hold bilateral talks. They discussed at length the strengthening of historic Indo-Sri Lanka relations and ways to further enhance economic, trade and cultural cooperation between the two countries. During the meeting, President Dissanayake conveyed his gratitude to the Indian Prime Minister for the special assistance extended to Sri Lanka in the aftermath of Cyclone Ditwa.
Professor Maitri Vikramasinghe, the wife of former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, has requested a 2-week extension to provide a statement to the Criminal Investigation Department.
The CID informed the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court recently that it intended to record a statement from Professor Maitri Vikramasinghe, the wife of former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, in connection with the alleged misuse of over 16.6 million rupees in state funds for a private trip undertaken by the former president to the United Kingdom. Accordingly, she had been summoned to appear before the CID today. However, the CID stated that Professor Wickramasinghe had requested a 2-week period due to an illness, preventing her from providing the statement as scheduled.
She had already informed the CID in writing. There are social media rumors suggesting she deliberately avoided appearing before investigators. However, she had clearly communicated her situation and remained cooperative in the investigation. In the past, there have been instances where politicians have avoided or delayed appearing before institutions investigating fraud, corruption and crime. When National Organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna MP Namal Rajapaksa was informed by the Criminal Investigation Department to appear and provide a statement, he requested 1 week's time to do so. He had been summoned in connection with an investigation into his alleged links with organised crime member Kehil Badra Padme. Although he was initially asked to appear before the CID on the 26th January, he provided his statement on the 3rd February after seeking the 1-week extension. When Shiranti Rajapaksa, wife of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, was summoned to appear before the Financial Crimes Investigation Division, she sought a 2-week extension. The summons was issued to record a statement in connection with investigations into alleged financial irregularities involving an account maintained under the name Cirilia. Although she was initially directed to appear on the 27th of January, she presented herself before the division on the 3rd of February after securing an appointment. Previously, during the Yahapalana government, Shiranti Rajapaksa had given a statement after arrangements were made for police officers to visit the then Speaker's official residence to record it. Former Minister Basil Rajapaksa had not appeared before the Mathura Magistrates Court for nearly a year in connection with the Browns Hill land case. Basil Rajapaksa, his wife's sister Ayoma Galapatti, her husband Tissa Galapatti and Mudita Jayakodi were named as respondents in the case. A medical report submitted to court stated that he had sustained nerve injuries to his head and neck following a fall from a chair. Former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has not yet appeared to give evidence in the case concerning the disappearance of human rights activists Lalit Veeraraj and Kugan Muruganandan. Rajapaksa, who served as Defence Secretary at the time, had been summoned in 2019 to testify before the Jaffna Magistrates Court in connection with the case. He later filed a petition before the Supreme Court stating that he was unable to travel to Jaffna to give evidence due to security concerns. Accordingly, he sought permission to provide testimony via Zoom.
A statement was made in Parliament today regarding politicians failing to appear for investigations.
Please tell those whom you are close to, those with your friendships and political connections, to send them a message. Now, when investigations are taking place at the CID, FCID and the police, please tell them to come and provide the necessary answers. Today, they are healthy, but if they are asked to come to the CID tomorrow, suddenly they fall sick. Even their blood pressure drops. So please ask them to stay healthy, because many of them will receive summons in the coming months. Investigations will take place in the relevant institutions. Do not be afraid. Right? We have already set up more high courts. Case files are being prepared. The government has no desire to protect any corrupt individuals. Tell your friends to come and give answers. Then the law will function properly and quickly.
On to some news overseas now. The arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, has plunged the British monarchy into one of the most consequential crises of its modern existence. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. King Charles's brother was released under investigation by Thames Valley Police on Thursday evening after spending much of his 66th birthday in custody.
The investigation centres on allegations that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, shared confidential government information with late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while serving as the UK's Special Trade Envoy in 2010. Emails revealed in the recently unsealed Epstein files appear to show Andrew forwarding classified trade reports within minutes of receiving them and sharing details of official trips and investment opportunities. The arrest represents the culmination of years of scrutiny over his relationship with Epstein, scrutiny that has strained the monarchy and intensified long-standing rifts within the royal family. Andrew was arrested at Sandringham Estate as officers from Thames Valley Police moved in with unmarked vehicles and began simultaneous searches at his Norfolk and Berkshire residences. In the UK's constitutional structure, the police operate in the name of the Crown, but not under the personal direction of the monarch. They are bound to political neutrality and investigative independence. Within hours of the arrest, King Charles issued a public statement expressing deepest concern and insisting that, quote-unquote, the law must take its course. He pledged the royal family's full and wholehearted support and cooperation with the investigation. Here is a look back at what the King said.
I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course.
It is understood that Prince William and Catherine support the King's remarks. The King has said he would not comment further on the situation while the process continues. BBC News reports that the King was not informed about the arrest in advance. This response was unprecedented in tone and clarity. Royal analysts noted that Charles intentionally distanced the monarchy from Andrew, refusing to offer protection or interference. One expert described the King's words as completely unambiguous in supporting law enforcement and rejecting online speculation. It follows earlier royal actions. In October 2025, Charles stripped Andrew of his titles and honours. Andrew had also been forced out of Buckingham Palace lodging earlier in 2026. The arrest has further cemented Charles's position that Andrew is no longer shielded by royal privilege, even though legal proceedings occur under the Crown's constitutional domain. The investigation continues, searches remain underway, and Andrew faces months, if not years, under scrutiny. For the monarchy, this moment is a defining test of legitimacy, transparency, and public trust. After Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was released under investigation, police will continue their searches of his former home in Berkshire. Officers searched the Windsor estate and wood farm property on the King's private Sandringham estate in Norfolk, where Andrew, who served as trade envoy between 2001 and 2011, has been living. Police said detectives will keep searching his former residence, Royal Lodge, on the Windsor estate.
Newsfirst with the people.
The government says that if LAF's gas fails to supply its customers adequately, Litrogas will begin providing LP gas and cylinders to those consumers from March 12th. Trade Minister Vasantha Samarasinghe said the company must also refund the money collected for its cylinders if it cannot provide LP gas for them.
What is the current gas supply situation? Litrogas announced that 3 ships carrying 11,300 metric tons of gas will arrive in Sri Lanka within the next 8 days. Litro chairman Channa Gunawardena said the company has ensured uninterrupted island-wide supply. Although Litro typically releases 1,100 metric tons daily, the company has increased this to 1,500 metric tons due to the current demand. Over 350,000 gas cylinders are being released to the market across yesterday, today and tomorrow. Out of the 28,000 metric tons ordered for the month, 18,000 metric tons have already arrived. Litro also expects an additional 1,374 metric tons above the ordered quantity within this month. Why did the gas shortage occur? The immediate reason for the shortage was LAF's gas halting its market supply. What is the reason for this? LAF's blamed regulatory instructions preventing the use of their Hambantota import-export terminal for domestic gas distribution. They said they are in constant discussions with government authorities to release the terminal for local operations. What is the government's response?
Hambantota gena gas වලින්
Out of the gas brought to Hambantota, 20% can be sold to the local market. market, and the remaining 80% must be exported. That is the condition agreed upon for the facility. Now, after exploiting this situation 2 or 3 times, the company thinks that when a crisis arises and pressure builds, they can get permission to sell all the gas brought to Hambantota. We say business entities should not engage in such manipulative actions. As a government, we cannot approve illegal operations or violations of regulations. Since the company has not taken adequate action to maintain the ongoing process, and because the actions have created a gas shortage, the government must make decisions.
Is there an alternative?
For those using yellow cylinders, Electro Gas has already planned to release blue cylinders to the market from the 12th of March. The government can increase gas supply and ensure consumers have access to cylinders. As the state-owned company that holds 80% of the market, we are ready to increase that to 90% or even 95%. Do not cause hardship to consumers for your own benefit. They are now suggesting that we allow breaches of the law because Lavs does not have gas in their yellow cylinders. We must say there is no gas shortage. This situation arose due to issues in Lavs Gas's purchasing and supply process, such as company debts or operational issues, and they must not burden consumers.
ප්‍රශ්න සමාගම්වල තියෙන ණය ප්‍රශ්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්, බාධා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට පීඩාවක්පත් නොවෙන්න කටයුතු කරන්න.
Can consumers switch from yellow to blue cylinders?
Gas cylinder ලබන 12 වෙනිදා ඉඳන්
Gas cylinders will enter the market from the 12th. We have requested additional gas and we now have agreements in place to ensure supply for the entire year. We must tell the company, if you cannot provide gas for your cylinders, return the money to consumers. Otherwise, there is no purpose in a consumer holding an empty cylinder. If a private company controlling 20% of the market cannot fulfill its responsibility, the government can release more gas and sell more cylinders. We tell the public, if you switch to blue cylinders, you will receive uninterrupted supply.
වැඩිපුර gas නිදහස් කරන්න, වැඩිපුර සිලින්ඩර් විකුණන්න. ඉතින් මේ පාරිභෝගික ජනතාවට අපි කියන්නේ ඒ සිලින්ඩර් එකට මාරු වුණොත් ඔබට අකණ්ඩව gas ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා.
This is not the first controversy over the Hambantota Lavs terminal. The Hambantota terminal and Lavs supply issues have surfaced many times. In May 2021, the cabinet decided that Litro and Lavs must handle gas importation, storage and distribution jointly. At that time, the Lavs Hambantota terminal was still under construction. By June 2021, a sudden gas shortage emerged as both companies demanded price increases, which the Consumer Affairs Authority rejected. Lavs stopped imports. Meanwhile, Litro chairman Anil Kuswata was removed and Teshara Jayasinghe was appointed. With Litro holding 80% market share, Jayasinghe suggested supply gas to Lavs cylinders as well, but Lavs opposed it. In August 2021, both companies were finally allowed to increase prices. A new company, Ceolit, was then created to import gas for both companies, but the then presidential secretary suspended the decision. In November 2021, Litro chairman Jayasinghe made a revelation.
මේ රටේ නොයෙකුත් ජාතිය මාෆියාවන් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. මේ ගෑස් වෙළඳ පොළට අදාළව ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේත් ඒ වගේ මාෆියාවක්. කාටවත් මේ වෙළඳ පොළට එන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. එක කණ්ඩායමක් විතරයි මේ වෙළඳාම කරන්නේ.
Not long after, gas-related accidents were reported across the country. All this took place during 2021 to 2022, when the people were battered by an economic crisis.
After the country ran out of funds after various thefts and mismanagement, the government chose to increase prices as a way of taking money from the people. You cannot raise prices by 300 to 400% through simple announcements. Afterwards came the power crisis and the gas shortage. We say the shortage was not natural. It was created. They let the people suffer in queues in extreme hardship and then brought 2 gas ships. LP gas that was at 1,500 rupees went up to 7,500 rupees. Since that day, there have been no more explosions. That is something to think about.
A seminar was held today in Colombo with the participation of the Mahasangha. Representatives from political parties in the opposition also joined the seminar.
This seminar was convened to raise public awareness regarding the current pressures and influences being exerted upon Buddhism and the Mahasangha. The event held at the headquarters of the All Ceylon Buddhist Congress was attended by members of the Mahasangha who arrived from all parts of the island. The seminar also saw the participation of political representatives who had been aligned with various parties in the recent past, as well as several monks who had previously appeared on their political platforms.
Ever since this started, people come in various guises, some wearing Muslim attire, some in Tamil attire, others with shaved heads but looking disheveled like hippies, and they try to lecture us and teach us the Dhamma. I cannot even describe these people. The only thing you are capable of is insulting us, attacking us and slandering us. What else can you do to us? If you can, try to stop our devotees from offering us alms. Even today, our devotees are coming to the temples in large numbers. Because of the insults being hurled at our monks who are striving to carry forward the Buddha Sasana, people call me and say, "We are with you. Do not be afraid of anything. We are here to provide the alms." I told those mothers, we didn't enter the monkhood because we had nothing to eat. If there is no food, we can go home and eat something like rice and coconut sambal. We have plenty to eat, but what we cannot tolerate are these slanders. We truly believe that our religion and the Mahasangha are currently facing a threat. It is the responsibility of the entire citizenry to protect and nurture the Sambuddha Sasana. While safeguarding the Sasana, we must also protect all other religions and ethnicities in the country, ensuring that everyone maintains religious and cultural freedom within the country through mutual understanding.
Meanwhile, journalists questioned Kotwe Podihamuduro today at the Colombo court premises regarding this seminar.
Public Security Minister Ananda Vijaypal told Parliament today that a gunman involved in the killing of a lawyer and his wife in the Akuregod area has been identified.
The vehicle used by the gunman for the crime, KI 7738, had been set on fire and destroyed in the Baddegama area where it was taken into custody. The vehicle used to deliver firearms for the crime, KS 8987, was taken into custody in Court Tower. Investigations have begun to seize the vehicle KW 8733, which brought the gunman to the accommodations before committing the crime. Its owner has now been identified, Sanuj Kokilalianarachi, who transported the firearms and handed them over to the gunman, has been taken into custody. The third suspect, Hapuarachi Don Dilina Pramoda Apuarachi, also known as Dila, provided a rented vehicle to suspects 1 and 2 and managed the transport operations. He has now been taken into custody. The suspect, who fired using a revolver-type firearm, has been identified as Robert Suresh, residing at number 102/9 Pansala Road, Meewala, Ruggavila. Extensive investigations have begun to apprehend him. The owner of the vehicle, KW 8733, has been identified as Wanyarachige Sihina Dilsara of Rasika Nivasa, Parna Colony, Askadura, Gaul. Investigations conducted so far reveal that this crime was orchestrated by an overseas-based organized criminal and drug trafficker known by the alias Tutu, whose real name is Uggala Arachige Tharindu Madhushankar.
Minister Vijaypala revealed that investigations have also begun into political figures connected to the underworld members currently in custody, including KL Badara Padme, based on data obtained from 30 mobile devices.
After several underworld operatives, including Kehel Badra Padme, were taken into custody, we have continued investigations. There are now investigations into 30 mobile phones seized from him. Through information and statements gathered from these phones, details have emerged regarding politicians who maintained relationships and engaged in activities with them. Investigations into these politicians have begun and statements are being recorded.
The minister also disclosed updates regarding inquiries into past high-profile crimes.
Especially in your party, there are certain Pradesh Sabha members. As an example, I will mention two without listing all names. In Ratgama, there are members with connections to Vidura underworld groups, relatives and associates. Koskoda Suji's sister is a Samagijana Balavegia Pradesh Sabha member. Through these individuals also, there is a considerable number involved in such killings. We are conducting deep investigations. Therefore, your parties can remove those within them. You can send the message to them, do not engage in killings. We say if you support this, when nominating candidates politically, do not nominate individuals with direct ties to such criminals. Do not tell me to give messages to this one or that one. There are phone conversations. There is intelligence.
නාමයට දීලා ඒ තනතුරු වලට පත් කර ගැනීම වැරදි කියන කාරණේ මම කිව්වේ.
මට කියන්න එපා අරයට පණිවිඩ දෙන්න මෙයාට පණිවිඩ දෙන්න.
Please do not delay this even for a second. Issue instructions to the IGP immediately. If such individuals are involved in underworld activities, investigate them, arrest them and bring them before the law. We will support this process clearly.
ඒ ක්‍රියාවලියට අපි දෙනවා සහයෝගය.
Okay, honorable leaders.
Minister of Justice Harshan Nanakara told Parliament today that 7 new high courts will be established to expedite the hearing of cases involving bribery and corruption.
අපි අලුතෙන් මහාධිකරණ 7ක්
We will establish 7 new high courts, 5 of them within the Halsdorf court complex. Additionally, 2 more will be established in the Halsdorf premises. Then a total of 7 new high courts will come. The most important aspect of these 5 courts is that all benches and required facilities are set up to function either as a 3-judge high court or as a single-judge court when needed. Accordingly, we expect this to speed up proceedings, and our expectation is that this will be completed by the middle of this year.
A special parliamentary committee appointed to study and recommend the appropriate mechanism for conducting the provincial council electoral system was named by Speaker Dr. Jagat Wickramaratne.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Vijitha Herath has been appointed as the chair of the committee. The committee consists of 11 members of parliament. They are Munir Mulafar, Sunil Watagala, Arun Hemachandra, Ranjit Mattuma Bandara, Manu Ganesan, Shanakian Rasamanikam, Lakshman Nipunarachi, Samanmali Gunasinghe, Dharmapriya Vijay Singhe, Chandana Suryarachi and President's Council Nizam Karyappa.
An adjournment debate was held in Parliament today regarding the importation of substandard coal. This motion was moved by Opposition Member of Parliament S.M. Manikar.
To
procure the 12.32 million metric tons of coal required for the Lakvijay coal power plant for the years 2025-2026, a procurement process should have been conducted with maximum competitiveness, adhering to government procurement guidelines while safeguarding basic requirements including supply viability, experience, quality of supply and adequate legal obligations. However, I propose to this House that necessary steps be taken to recover the losses caused in Sri Lanka due to the aforementioned corrupt procurement process from those responsible to prevent future losses and to ensure the accountability of individuals at all levels responsible for this corrupt and illegal process. At that time, check if money was deposited into the People's Bank Homagama into the account of the minister's wife's mother. Check if this money was deposited into the wife's mother's account at the People's Bank Homagama branch during that tender period.
As the government, we will provide answers to what he said. However, regarding this account at the People's Bank Homagama branch, which is allegedly in the name of the wife's mother, state the name. State the account number. If a debate is to be held today and if money has indeed been deposited into that account, then disclose the name and the account number to this House so we can reveal who the relatives involved are.
I have presented 99% with evidence. Don't cry over the remaining 1%. I am telling them to investigate it themselves. The police belong to them, don't they? The police are theirs. The People's Bank account number, the name on the account and the amount that went into it, I will inform you in the future. First, investigate the things I have already given you.
The proposal itself, the very content of it, is a lie. It states that this is for the procurement of 12.32 million metric tons. There is no such thing. This figure represents a requirement not for 1 year, but for nearly 10 years. There is also a quantity of coal already accepted and due to be received. When all of that is considered, the actual requirement is only about 1.5 million tons. Therefore, the tender is being awarded for that specific amount.
Since I was challenged to name names and table the documents, I have now brought them. D.M. Anurakumar Disanayaka, MP, number 464/20, Pannipitiya Road, Palavatta, Batramulla. This is the permit. Next, the permit of Bimal Niroshan Ratnayaka. Next, the permit of Sunil Handuneti. They took this, put them into the party fund, sold them and credited the money to the party fund.
Here, the challenge was made. The minister asked to table the account number of his mother-in-law and those details, but he only talked about it. We didn't see it afterwards. The proposing MP who came to table this has now vanished. Do you know what they are trying to do now? What they are trying to do is to say, we have dirt on us, so you get some of this on you too. They want us to dance to their tunes. While maintaining such a strong government, we have not used cabinet power for that interference. You must remember that. We are following the proper procurement process.
මම හිතන්නේ මේ account detail ගේන්න ගිහිල්ලා වෙන නැත්නම් එතුමාගේ බිරිඳගේ අම්මගේ බැංකු පොතේ කොපියක් ගන්න ගිහිල්ලා වෙන්නේ නැති කියලා අපි හිතනවා දැන් හාස් වෙන කලින් එයි කියලා හිතනවා.
Where is MP Marika? Is he not here? I think he must have gone to fetch the account details. We assume he might have gone to get a copy of the bank book of the minister's wife's mother. We hope he will return before 4 p.m. I think that is what is necessary. He has gone to get photocopies of the book. After that, he wasn't even on this side of the house. This is how it is. I think that is the method. However, the reason the phrase wife's mother comes to mind so easily is because of the practices one is familiar with. It's the way they are used to transact in, the way they handled money. That is why it comes out so quickly. Even I was thinking such a thing wouldn't occur to me suddenly to mention a wife's mother. This is what they know. This is how these people have conducted transactions. Sort of habit, they think we are the same and say such things.
Several members of the government side challenged him. Where is Marika? Marika, where is the account number? If not, give a pledge to apologize, not only to Minister Bimal Kumar Jayakuri, but also apologize to his wife. Apologize to the wife's mother as well. Our politics is not the kind of politics you practiced. After telling blatant lies, he is nowhere to be seen. Also, it came out in MP Marika's own speech this morning that the era of politics based on deceiving people with lies is now over. That is exactly what we have to say to Marika and to the opposition.
කතාවේදී පිට වුණා බොරු කියලා රවට්ටපු දේශපාලන යුගයේ දැන් අවසන් කියලා. ඒක තමයි අපිටත් මරික්කාර ඇතුළු විපක්ෂයට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඔයාලා ආණ්ඩුව හැටියට ගිහිල්ලා ඒ ශාඛාව හොයලා ඒ නන්දම්මගේ තියෙන.
Why can't you do it? If you as the government went to that branch and showed the account belonging to that mother-in-law, you wouldn't have to wait for Marika to show it. The issue is that if you show it, more things might be exposed. Their arguments are strange. They have strange logic. If you know about it, go and get it. You can do that. We are waiting for you to bring it. You prove you are clean by bringing it. You said there are 159 of you.
දැන් උදේ පාන්දර මම හිතන්නේ 11 මාට තමයි මේ යෝජනාව මරික්කාර් මන්ත්‍රීවරයා මේ සභාවට ඉදිරිපත් කළේ.
Early this morning, I think at 11:30, MP Marika presented this proposal to this house. While presenting it, he spoke about an account at the People's Bank Homagama branch. If you Google Homagama, it's 10 kilometers away. It takes 36 minutes to go and come back. By now, there has been enough time to go and come back 10 times. I think MP Marika didn't intend to go to Homagama. He must be looking for the house of the person who gave him false information. Therefore, we believe that before this session ends, MP Marika will find the account number and the amount and disclose them.
සභාව ඉවරෙන්න කලින් මරික්කාර් මන්තුමා account number එකයි ගානයි හොයන් කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා. දැන් අපිට කියනවා අපිට ඔප්පු කරන්නලු. දැන් මේගොල්ලන්ගේ පුරුද්දක් තියෙනවා මොකක් හරි බොරුවක් ඇදබාලා ඒක නේද? බොරුව නැති එක අපිට ඔප්පු කරන්න කියනවා.
Now they are telling us to prove it. These people have a habit. They cook up a lie and then they tell us to prove that the lie isn't true. Then they run away. They say it and run because they can't find the evidence. What I observed in this debate, Honourable Member, is that usually it is the government side that has to keep standing up to answer. But this debate is one where the opposition has had to keep standing up to provide answers, right? Those who were there during the 2015 to 2020 period are answering. Those before 2015 are also answering. Those after 2020 are also answering. Why? Because it is those old coal deals that are corrupt. That is why I said the old coal stain has rubbed off. We have no problem. We have conducted the procurement processes correctly. If there is an issue with even one ship supplied, then the supplier will be fined. What else is there to do? That is what needs to be done.
ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. අපි ප්‍රසම්පාදන ක්‍රියාවලිය හරියට කරලා තිබෙනවා. සැපයුම්කරු සපයපු එක නැවක හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබෙනවා නම් ඒවට දඩ ගන්නවා. දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? ඕක තමයි කරන්න තියෙන්නේ.
The Colombo Magistrates Court ordered the release on bail of former Ministry Secretary Anusha Palpita, who had been in remand custody over allegations of acquiring assets without being able to disclose their lawful origin.
The case was taken up before Colombo Chief Magistrate Asanga S. Bodragama. During the hearing, officers from the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption submitted a progress report, informing the court that an analytical report had been called regarding the suspects' investments in the stock market. They requested an additional date for further proceedings. Appearing for Palpita, attorney at law Kanchana Ratwatta told the court that the suspect had been in remand for 1 month and was willing to fully cooperate with the investigation. He requested that the suspect be released on suitable bail conditions. After considering the submissions, the Chief Magistrate noted that there was no reason to keep the suspect further in remand and ordered his release on 2 surety bails of 5 million rupees each. The magistrate also imposed conditions including a travel ban, ordering Palpita to surrender his passport to court. The case is scheduled to be taken up again on the 29th of May.
The writ petition filed seeking an order to prevent the enforcement of a directive to demolish an allegedly unauthorized construction in Trincomalee, said to have violated the Coast Conservation Act, was today fixed for further hearing on the 28th of April.
The petition has been filed by Venerable Kalyanavansa Tissatero, the chief incumbent of the temple in question. The case was taken up before the appeal court bench comprising Justices Dhammika Ganepola and Aditya Patabandige. Appearing on behalf of the petitioner, President's Counsel Susantha Bala Patabandi informed the court that the chief incumbent had already agreed to modify the contested section of the structure in accordance with the approved plan of the temple premises. He noted that based on this agreement, the Coast Conservation Department had previously expressed willingness to withdraw the demolition order issued against the construction. However, he told court that the process had been delayed because the petitioner had recently been remanded in connection with another case, preventing timely completion of the required adjustments. President's Counsel Bala Patabandi therefore requested additional time for the petitioner to fulfill the steps previously agreed upon before the court. Deputy Solicitor General Manohara Jayasinghe, appearing for the respondents, raised no objection to the request. President's Counsel Bala Patabandi further noted that certain officials had visited the temple and indicated that specific alterations must be carried out at the premises. In response, the court observed that any modifications to the construction should strictly comply with the approved layout of the temple. Accordingly, the bench granted time to the petitioner until the 28th of April to complete the necessary steps and directed that the progress of these activities be reported to court on that date.
Years of excellence. Sri Lanka Air Force proudly celebrates 75th anniversary of serving the nation. Coming soon on Newsfirst.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe says Sri Lanka's 2022 economic collapse was rooted in domestic policy missteps, compounded by structural imbalances and successive external shocks, culminating in one of the worst crises in the country's history. He was speaking at the anniversary convention of the Association of Professional Bankers, Sri Lanka.
The 36th anniversary convention of Association of Professional Bankers Sri Lanka was inaugurated in Colombo.
As you know, Sri Lanka is emerging from a dual crisis of balance of payments and also sovereign debt, we all know. In 2022, Sri Lanka faced one of the most severe economic crises in its history, marked by severe shortage of essential, widespread social and political unrest, and a significant loss of confidence in institutions and policy making. Structural imbalances and successive external shocks that were further amplified by domestic policy missteps were the root causes for this dual crisis that we experienced in 2022. Persistent fiscal imbalances, which is a root cause, eventually resulted in unsustainable debt levels and mounting balance of payment pressures, especially with the limited forest inflows and countries' loss of global market access. Inflation, as we all experience difficult times, soared to unprecedented heights while foreign reserves of the central bank dried up to critically very low levels. Thereby, by early 2022, we had to announce without any option to announce the debt standstill on selected foreign reserves payments by the government. So that was the difficult time. Nevertheless, the decisive policy measures that followed led to one of the fastest economic stabilization turnaround seen in the recent emerging markets in the recent history. The government, together with the central bank and with the support of the IMF's Extended Fund Facility, worked closely with creditors and wider international community to implement a comprehensive and coordinated economic reform agenda, including a sovereign debt restructuring process. These reforms focus on restoring macroeconomic stability, rebuilding institutional credibility, and building buffers for a more resilient and sustainable economy. The positive impact of these efforts is now clearly evident. After deep economic contraction, the economy has now recorded 9 consecutive quarters of positive growth since the third quarter of 2023. Although there could be some setback in the fourth quarter of last year due to the Detroit Cyclone, we expect that the economy has grown by around 4.5% in 2025. We will see the numbers soon for the fourth quarter growth. We expect the growth momentum would continue, and we are projecting 4 to 5% growth for this year as well. It's a steady medium to long-term growth. We saw heavy disinflation in 2023 and learned months of a period of deflation until August last year, and now inflation now is reaching to our target level now around 2%. It will be going around to around 5% by the second half of probably or third quarter of this year. Country has made great strides in terms of improving governance with numerous legislative enactments. Key one is this new Central Bank Act, also Public Financial Management Act on the fiscal policy, Anti-Corruption Act on the addressing governance and corruption vulnerabilities, and also several other important reforms have already been enacted and also in the process of implementing. These improvements in the legislative framework supports the continuous macroeconomic stability and creating a much more stable framework for the future in terms of overall macro stability.
Executive Director of the Reserve Bank of India, Sri Ajay Kumar, says Sri Lanka has rapidly emerged as a preferred holiday destination for Indian travellers, helped by easier visa access and a waiver of visa fees for Indians.
Sri Lanka has emerged as a favoured destination for tourists out of India. A number of friends who otherwise would have visited our southern state of Kerala for a holiday now choose Lanka, thanks in part to ease of obtaining a visa for Indians and waiver of its fees. In fact, I also travel without visa thanks to India-Pakistan match. So the whole system got jammed and they said you can travel without visa also. So thanks to the authority. A lot of outward FDI, that is overseas direct investment from India, has found refuge in Sri Lanka. Although it is led by government sector as of now, there is a considerable scope for expansion of Indian investment in Lanka by the private sector. There is a high demand for Sri Lankan tea, spices, natural rubber as well as textiles in India. Medical tourism from Sri Lanka to India is also rapidly growing due to quality care and cost efficiency. Banks in India and Sri Lanka share significant financial and economic interest on account of bilateral trade, investment, tourism and digital payment integration. Navigating the BOP crisis, at the central bank level, the Reserve Bank of India and Central Bank of Sri Lanka actively collaborated at several multilateral forums like the SU, SAARC Finance, as well as bilaterally. This collaboration is a critical component of regional financial stability in South Asia.
The convention was held under the theme Navigating Complexity and Accelerating Impact Through Regional Synergy.
At the 2025 Innovation Island Summit, Amitabh Kant, creator of the Incredible India campaign, also shared similar sentiments on Kerala and Sri Lanka.
So first let me say that there is no product like Sri Lanka. There are very few destinations in the world which have beaches, which have wildlife, which have culture, which have architecture, which have history, which have backwaters, all combined together. And food, and cuisine, and culture, all this. No other destination in the world has a product like Sri Lanka. My view about Sri Lanka is that it needs to go up the value chain. And therefore, it's a destination which, to my mind, should never be sold for less than about $600 to $700 a night. And that's a question of how you position. Because we are selling, if you sell a destination for peanuts, you'll get monkeys. And you are selling it too cheap. But to my mind, Sri Lanka is better than Kerala. Sri Lanka's Human Development Index, its physical quality of life index, and its natural beauty is 10x better than Kerala.
The fourth phase of the Gammatha Care and Dare program will be held tomorrow and the day after, centered around the Kandy and Mathale districts. The Gammatha Care and Dare program was established to uplift the people affected by various disasters following Cyclone Ditwa. This initiative is carried out with the contribution of the Mindaru Foundation of Australia, one of the world's largest philanthropic organizations. The first phase of Care and Dare was successfully implemented in Kothmale, the second in Passara, Madulsima and Ballimada, and the third phase in Nildandahinna and Gampula, providing benefits to thousands of people. Tomorrow's program will serve the people of the Ududumbara Divisional Secretariat Division in the Kandy district. It will be held at the Ududumbara Sarathekanayaka Primary School. And the day after tomorrow, the program is scheduled for the residents of Rattota and Amanganga Korale Divisional Secretariat Divisions in the Mathale district. This session will take place at the Rattota Sri Kumaran Primary School. The Care and Dare program provides medical services, counselling and legal aid alongside the distribution of relief. Furthermore, guidance is provided to those who have lost their livelihoods and self-employment opportunities. The Divisional Secretariat will also collaborate with the program to assist in the reissuing of birth certificates and other vital documents lost during the disaster. Special services will be provided for pregnant mothers and young children, while other services include the distribution of dry rations, household appliances and hygiene packs to those affected. Joining hands with Gammatha for this cause are the Disaster Relief Services Centre, the National Apprentice and Industrial Training Authority, the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Health, the Triforces and Sri Lanka Police. By the end of this phase of the Gammatha Care and Dare program, a total of 10 divisional secretariat divisions severely affected by Cyclone Ditwa will have been covered.
The Architect 2026 exhibition continued for its second day today in Colombo.
Architect 2026 exhibition continued for its second day today at the BMICH in Colombo. The exhibition, organized for the 44th consecutive year by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, was held under the theme Architect in Time, Visionaries in Rebuilding the Built Environment. The event brings together leading architects, industry professionals and distinguished guests from across the country. The exhibition is open to the public daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. until the 22nd of February.
The official launch of the SLASCOM National Ingenuity Awards 2026 was held in Colombo.
The Sri Lanka Association for Software and Services Companies officially launched the National Ingenuity Awards 2026 in Colombo. Speaking at the launch, chairperson of SLASCOM, Shihani Seneviratne, shared her views on the objective of National Ingenuity Awards 2026.
So we have one objective to refocus Sri Lanka as a global destination for technology innovation and competitive talent. So as Sri Lanka advances towards the ambition of becoming a $5 billion digital economy, so we are building on our foundations and also starting new initiatives. So when you talk about new initiatives, innovation is key. So no longer is innovation an option, but innovation is mandatory. So we need to encourage innovation at all levels in Sri Lanka. In this light, National Ingenuity Awards, SLASCOM National Ingenuity Awards is a platform where we recognize all these innovations from across the country.
The selection process will progress through provincial and national stages.
A team of researchers at Stanford University in California, led by Sri Lankan-American immunologist Professor Bali Pulendran, has reported progress in developing a single universal vaccine delivered by nasal spray that could protect against all coughs, colds, flus, and other viral and bacterial infections.
The team at Stanford University have tested their universal vaccine in animals and still need to do human clinical trials. They say their approach marks a radical departure from the way vaccines have been designed for more than 200 years. Experts in the field said the study was really exciting despite being at an early stage that could be a major step forward. Current vaccines train the body to fight one single infection. A measles vaccine protects against only measles, and a chickenpox vaccine protects against only chickenpox. The approach described in the journal Science does not train the immune system. Instead, it mimics the way immune cells communicate with each other. It is given as a nasal spray and leaves white blood cells in our lungs called macrophages on amber alert and ready to jump into action no matter what infection tries to get in. The effect lasted for around 3 months in animal experiments.
A number of events organized in line with the much-awaited 2026 Ironman 70.3 Triathlon was held in Colombo today.
The 2026 Ironman 70.3 Triathlon, which consists of swimming, cycling and marathon events, is being held this year after a 6-year hiatus. The registration process for the participating athletes commenced today under the patronage of the Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development, Chaturanga Abesingha.
This is a great start for the country in terms of it's been many years that we didn't have this event here, but when Sri Lanka and Colombo itself has changed since then. And I think with this event, we are going to kick-start a new era in sports tourism and activities for Colombo. So again, thanking the organizing committee for expanding the scope of the event, allowing our industries and our culture, arts and culture, and everybody to unite, and also Colombo being a very diverse city, giving opportunity for everybody to be part of this event. At the same time, Sri Lanka is doing very well on cricket at this point as well, so it's a festive season for all the sports lovers in the country. And I invite Sri Lankans living everywhere to enjoy this event. Whoever who can, please come and support these athletes. Amazing athletes are here to compete on this session, and let's celebrate all together for a new era for this country.
Colombo is back, ladies and gentlemen. So Kaya Colombo is a gift to this city. Just to remind that city has so much of potential, a lot of infrastructure, but the city's future depends on lifestyle. Lifestyle depends on the core of the city, the soul, and this is an attempt to bring that soul to life. The event Kaya kicks off the Active Colombo Week. Colombo has every single element to be positioned as an active city of South Asia. We've got all elements. We've got the ocean, we've got the roads, we've got beautiful architecture, and we've got hotels like what you're seeing here.
An exhibition titled Kaya Colombo commenced in Colombo yesterday to provide foreigners visiting Sri Lanka for the competition with an insight into life in the capital city.
I'm very excited for this event. I think that it's a great initiative by Serendip Multisport to try to introduce this event back, I think, in the country after 7 years. Looking forward to participating, seeing everybody on race day, and obviously working with my teammates to finish a good race.
It's exciting to see Ironman and our kids back in Colombo in terms of tourism, for athletes, for the kids. It's a massive opportunity once again to bring it back to Colombo.
I'm very excited for the Iron Kids. So since 2019, the Iron Kids wasn't in Sri Lanka, and now the Iron Kids are back in Sri Lanka.
I'm ready for the Ironman 70.3 Port City, Colombo on Sunday. It's not long to go now, and I hope to see you all there at Port City on Sunday to join the race. Have a good one and enjoy it.
The official media partners of Ironman 70.3 are Sirasa TV and Yes FM. The 2026 Ironman 70.3 Triathlon will be held on the 22nd of February at the iconic Port City in Colombo.
Air Force Sports Club was crowned champions in the Inter-Club Rugby tournament this evening. Air Force clashed with Police Sports Club in the finals of the tournament to emerge as champions.
The finals took place at the Air Force grounds in Ratmalana. In the first half, both sides were equally matched, resulting in an intense and entertaining session of rugby. However, at the end of the first half, Air Force were leading 7 points to 5. In the second half, Air Force were able to add another 12 points to their tally, while Police were only able to score 7 more points. As a result, at the final whistle, Air Force SC won the match with a final score of 24 points to 12. The champions' haul of points came through 4 tries and 2 conversions, while the runners-up haul came through 2 tries and a single conversion. The official media sponsor of the Inter-Club League Rugby tournament was Sirasa TV and Yes FM.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1.
Thank you for joining us. Good night.